Hello, everybody. My name is Darcel McCray, and today I want to do things just a little bit differently. I want to today address Hollywood, the celebrities, as well as gospel stars. I want to take everybody back to the Ten Commandments, which is in the book of Exodus, verse 3 through 17. And I'm going to start at verse 3. Um, and the Bible says, "Thou shalt not have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the Lord thy God, the name of the Lord thy God, in vain, For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." And I'm going to stop right there, ladies and gentlemen. Especially this is going toward Christian leaders in gospel music, preaching. Now, I noticed that even for myself when I was growing up in church, Sunday is the big day that everybody operates on. Now, but the Bible says to keep the Sabbath day and to keep it holy. Here in verse 10, which I'm getting ready to soon go to, verse 10, verse 10, it tells us to keep the seventh day, not the first day of the week. The seventh day is the Sabbath day that is supposed to, that us Christian folks supposed to keep holy. That's Saturday. That's not Sunday, which is the first day of the week. Um, the Bible tells us that 6 days shalt thou labor and do all work, but the seventh day, verse 10, is the Sabbath day of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, nor thy son, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor the cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gate. Many days, many of us Christian, because we've all been bamboozled by Satan. But however the case may be, the Bible tells us that we are to keep the seventh day. Because if we are operating the world's tradition on Sunday, I know we Christian folks, you know that the Bible tells us that we are not supposed to operate of the world, because if we operate in the world, we're not of Christ. So we can't operate the world's way and keep a foundational relationship with Christ. It's impossible. If we're not taking the day that we're told to operate on, instead of but yet we're operating on the day of when the world operates, we are in sin. And as the Bible would have us have would tell us in Matthew 24, that we are not that we are being deceived. It's impossible to operate the world's way but get godly results. We're not in right fellowship with God if we're operating outside that Sabbath. Because the Bible tells us also in Matthew 24 of the Great Tribulation. And if we're in sin, when this time comes, we're not going to be exempt from the tribulation. So many Christian people are seriously going into tribulation. And as the Bible would have it, many people, there will be some Christian people that will be saved, but there are others that will not. And plenty of people in this world are gonna lose salvation if people are not operating this word and keeping it the way that God has it. The time and the Sabbath, No word or any laws in this Bible has been changed just because of the Ten Commandments, because the Ten Commandments is in the Old Testament. Christ came in the New Testament, but we're still responsible for the commandments. We still have to keep things the way that the Bible says. Now I'm gonna go ahead on to I'm going back to 8. The Bible says, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor. And I've already read that portion. But in verse 11, for in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth and the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath, day, and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not convey thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not convey thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his donkey head, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's. Now, for celebrities and people who are not regularly living a life of a life with Christ, if you will, you have the glitz and the glamour, and that's all good to have nice things. But as the Bible will encourage us, money, fame, and fortune in this time and of the things and events that is supposed to be coming here, great tribulation. The Bible tells us in Matthew 24 that it's going to be a time of tribulation that never has been, and it won't be that worse. It won't be ever worse as it's going to get soon. It will never be that way again. If we don't operate by what the Bible tells us, we can have all the riches in the world. It will not save us from going to hell. All the money in the world that you operate in every day, it will not keep your soul from burning in hell. But if you keep the commandments, keep the feast, the Passover, and many Christians operate Easter. Easter is not a Christian holy day, it's a pagan holiday. The correct day, which in the Bible, the Bible says it's the Last Supper, but it's the Last Supper, but it's also Passover. This is the day that Christ actually died. We have to keep things the way the Bible tells us to, because if we operate things, try to mix worldly with what God tells us, we are going to be in a very bad place, and we're in sin. And sin will not get you to heaven by no means. If we don't do things properly and keep things according to what the Bible says, we're going to we're going to go into tribulation. And if we take the mark of the beast, basically, if you're not living through the Ten Commandments and keeping the holy days and keeping the feast of the Lord, then it's safe to say that you're on a wrong route, and you need to come up off of that route and follow what God has told you to do, and be holy. Christ is a holy God. He didn't operate through keeping the world's way. That by far is the reason why they hung him on a cross. Whenever Christians didn't operate the Roman Empire way, they were often hung, and some had very brutal deaths, as Christ did. Now, if we operate that way, the world way, Roman Empire and man's traditions, we are not going to be saved from the tribulation. We are going to be in tribulation, and if we take the mark of the beast, we would never ever see heaven. We would never have the opportunity to see the beautiful days of Christ sitting on his throne. We would never be able to have to be able to operate, be an assistance to Jesus Christ, helping him to rebuild the universe. So everybody that's not operating in the Ten Commandments, I would hope and encourage you to please keep the commandments, because if you don't keep the commandments, then tribulation will be your portion. And if you take the mark of the beast in that timing, you will see hell will be the portion for you. And I would hate to see anybody go there. I know I don't want my family or myself to go there. So, as a spirit encourages me today to give this to you, I will hope that you would take it home and give it to your people. God bless you. And until next time.